Welcome to this current affair topic. This is changing India. So recently it has been seen that India's trajectory in the foreign policy is changing. Earlier it was like that India was acting as a sovereign one, that if any conditions is taking, if any decisions are being taken, so India will have its own decision. India will not take any decision on the impact of someone else. So it has been seen that India is shifting towards USA. So the shifting towards USA is seen as anti-China aggression. So what are these things we will see in this lecture. Okay, so the India's assignment with the US would lead to some concerns for India. Okay, so in the third India US 2+2 deal, the ministerial dialogue, the basic exchange and cooperation agreement, that BECA agreement, where the India will be able to launch a missile with a pinpoint exact location. Okay, so for geospatial cooperation was signed, and with this signing India is now signatory to all US related foundation military agreements. So whatever the agreements are there, we will see in this session. Okay, so moving ahead, so what are the concerns with this deal? Why India is moving towards America? So what are the concerns for it? So before moving ahead, I request you to please subscribe this channel. It is a new channel. I need your help, and if you like this video, please go through till the end so that you will get a complete information. Okay, so with the signing of this agreement, India's claim of maintaining a strategic autonomy will increasingly sound hollow. Earlier it was like that India is said that we are sovereign, but if you are in the contact with the USA, it is like that USA will not want you to keep a good relation with whom? Russia. USA and Russia both are rival, both are against each other. So it will be like, it may make India to take decision in the impact of USA, but it will not be like that. We will see in the session, but it seems to be like that the policy of the India is changing right now, as it seems to that it is leaning towards more to the USA. Okay, and furthermore, the relationship of the India with its neighbors are right now are not good. Even it has been seen that the situation with the Bangladesh is fluctuating. It is okay right now, if that the current government, if it is in the favor, so it is good. But the situation with the that Nepal has been just now connected with the one road one belt initiative with the China, that one, the railway track is being constructed, and the Nepal has allowed it. The agreement was signed on in the 2017 only, and that rail track is passing from nearly to our Arunachal Pradesh area. Okay, so it seems like that China is trying to cover India from all sides. So in Pakistan also, if you see, they due to this one road one belt initiative, the China is constructing road that passing from the illegally occupied Kashmir, that is POK. So from that the region, they are passing that new road from the through, that is making by the China. So that is also one of the, that construction is being taken. So these all things shows what, that India does not have a good relationship with their neighbors right now, and it is making more collaboration with the Central Asian countries also, and from the Western countries. Okay, so the latest BECA would not doubt provide that BECA agreement, that it is no doubt that it will provide India with access to highly classified information, but it also require India to share their sensitized information. Okay, it is like that, it is two-way agreement, it is a mutual agreement. So if they are capable to providing the classified information, exact information, then India will also be required to share the information with them. So due to this BECA agreement, India would be able to launch missiles at more exact location, that is pinpoint exact location. I have mentioned that thing in the slide also. Okay, so with the closer alignment with the USA and its Indo-Pacific policy, India is being viewed as a part of wider anti-China coalition of the willing, so which goes against India's previous policy of neutrality. India from starting it is used to say that we have a neutral one. So if you are going to the USA, if your policy is more leaning towards USA, so it is like India's sovereignty is checked by, like, so most of the nation is telling that now India is not acting as a neutral one, so and of maintaining equidistance from power blocks. So earlier it was like that. In India used to make distance from those power blocks, and it was like that we have a deal from that country, we are getting deal from that country. If you have any issue with each other, I don't care, I have a deal, I want something. If the someone is agree, if that country X is agree, I will take it. It was like that, but right now it does not seem like that. So as India gravitates towards US sphere of influence, the trust between the two Asian power houses would only decrease, and the India's neighbor like Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bangladesh currently seems to be out of step with India's approach as many issues, as I've explained. So India needs to devote greater attention to try and restore India-Iran ties, which have frayed in recent years due to the US sanctions. So the Chabahar port also development and all, India was developing all those things in that region. So India is trying to maintain good relation with the Central Asian countries, but due to US sanctions, it was also disrupted. So it is same that India needs to devote greater action to try restore India's Iran ties, which have been frayed in recent years due to the US sanctions. So US sanction was that petrol issue. So what is that issue? I will explain it here. So India currently has detached outlook towards the non-alignment movement and has increasingly distanced itself from the African and Latin American group in terms of policy prescription, which could only further aggravate this trend, and this could only be degrade India's standing at a non-alignment movement. Okay, so this Iran ties I will explain that right now India is importing 0 liter of oil from that country, and it was because of the US sanction. What was that issue? I will tell you. So the argument that India's new foreign policy based on deeper collaboration with the US is essentially a pragmatic one in keeping with the current state of global disorder would only project India as an opportunistic nation. Like right now it focus India is like right now India wants help from the US, India is coming as. So it is creating an image of India as an opportunistic nation for its ideologically agnostic attitude and the behavior. So it is telling that India is just trying to use that benefit. So these all things that it has been explained, that it has been told, most of the things like in the Trump government was also there. So Trump government had a different collaboration with the Indian government. So it was also leaning towards the Indian government because of what? Because of only Indo-China, like in Pacific regions. So in that Pacific region, it was because of the Chinese country rivalries, USA had came with the India. Okay, but the Republican Party that just now that came into the power, and the Trump will lose its chair. So Biden will come. So they are against of the some of the imposition of the India, like they are against the CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, and they are against the revocation of Article 370 from the Jammu and Kashmir region. So these are two things, these are like the two things we have to see what the American government will take. And the Trump government was out of the Paris deal. Now it is expected that Republican Party, when the Biden will come, then again US will come under the Paris deal. So these all things will be see in the coming times. So what is the shifting trajectory with the India's foreign policy? So India's policy has been developed lots of since independence. So India accepted non-alignment with any restriction, that non-alignment movement. So with any restriction, that without any restriction. So India is a sovereign country, and India is now a signatory to all US related foundational military agreements. So some of the important military agreements are signed by the India and the US are, what are the signs which are signed by the India and the US? So the General Security Military Information Agreement, that was signed in 2002, and this was the agreement a part of Industrial Security Annex, under which defense corridor will be coming in up in the UP and Tamil Nadu right now. So this was the deal that was signed. So General Security of Military Information Agreement signed in 2002. Then second agreement that came in the 2016. So Logistical Exchange Memorandum of Agreement signed in 2016, where Indian warship will be able to access US ports for fuels and supply, and the vice versa, like US will use for India and India can use for US. So this was the one memorandum signed between in the year 2016 in the India and USA. Then CISMOLA, the COMCASA, Communication Compatibility and Security Agreement, was signed in 2018. So it was the security between communication equipments and all, how these things will be shared. Now in the 2020, that is the BECA, for which right now we are discussing. So the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, in this BECA agreement, it will be like we have a geospatial cooperation, in which due to this India will be able to get pinpoint accuracy during launching any missiles. Like in the Spice missile, India used it from Israel in the Pakistan at the illegally occupied POK. So we can also use drones for such attacks. In those drones we can use those technology through this BECA agreement. So always India seems to be closer to Russian military deals, but here we can see India is getting close with USA, and USA and the Russia are both opposite, both are rivalry. So we have further current account surplus with USA. That is big export market for, so we can't ignore USA. So it is telling that okay, USA and Russia are against each other. Okay, so India should not become closer with the USA. India should not become closer to the USA, and India should be neutral with the Russia and USA. But the most important point to focus is that India has a current account surplus with USA. It means what? India is importing more in USA than export. Okay, so India is getting benefit from the USA. Similarly, like Sri Lanka also, India has a surplus with the Sri Lanka also. So it is telling that we can't ignore USA, and USA is one of the greatest market for the India. So India can't ignore USA completely, because it is a bigger market. It is a bigger that it is one of the biggest export from India coming to the USA. So that is thing that we can't ignore USA. That's why USA is important for us. Okay. Similarly, Sri Lanka also, we have a current account surplus with Sri Lanka too. So anti-China collision. So if you are coming with USA, so one thing that Russia will not like it, and that's why this is the reason why Russia is also helping in making Pakistan that one road in the Afghanistan in the illegally occupied POK regions, that is Kashmir region by the Pakistan. Okay, so USA is coming closer to China. So China is becoming assertive in the Pacific Ocean and came up with One Belt One Road initiative. So further protests happening in Hong Kong for pro-democracy, which has been suppressed by the Chinese security forces, have actually not gone well with USA. So China does not recognize Taiwan as an independent country, where the Taiwan, so in the South Pacific Ocean there is a small country will be that Taiwan regions. Okay, so here Malaysia and all, you will find that Indonesia and all. Okay, so here will be that Taiwan region. So China does not recognize Taiwan as an independent country. So China considers Taiwan to be subsidiary or sub-province of China. So if we are dealing with China, it seems to that no deal with Taiwan. We can't have a deal with Taiwan. It is telling that China that if you are dealing with China, there is no need to separate deal with Taiwan. Okay, because Taiwan is a part of China only. It is said by the China. So China has started devaluing its currency yuan also. It will lead to what it will lead? It will lead to increase the export sector. That China want to dump its product in the countries. So for that, what he said, it has devalued the currency value of yuan. So what will happen? You will have more currency, more domestic currency. So when you will get more domestic currency, when you will export it, it means what? See, if you are producing rice, okay, so if you are exporting that rice, you will get what? You will get rupees. Okay, it means what? You will get more rupees. If the value of, let us suppose, I will explain it in small example. Let us suppose the $1 value is rupees 60. Okay, now the government has decided to devalue the all of rupees. So what will happen? What, let us suppose now the dollar will become rupees 80. Okay, so now what will happen? Earlier you were exporting rice at $1. So what you were getting? You were getting rupees 60. But now when the government has devalued the rupees value, so now what you will get? When you sell rupees rice at the place of $1, you will get what? Rupees 80. So it means what? The export will increase. Now the exporter will try to export more rice. Why export more rice? If they export more rice, they will get more rupees. So in the same manner, China does that. It devalued its currency yuan, and in that case, what will happen? The export sector will increase. Thus, the imports of USA will also increase. Like India, China also export more to USA. Like similarly, India also have a surplus with USA. Similarly, China also export more to USA. So it will happen what? Thus import will, as the currency of the yuan has been decreased, it means what? The export from the China will increase, and China also have a good business with USA import. So what will happen? The import from the USA will increase. Okay, that is what it is trying to explain. So imports of USA will increase, thus USA and China have trade related issues. Okay, because it is that forcibly China has devalued its currency. It is not because of the market issues. China has forcibly devalued its money. So that's what it is, the issue with the China and USA. So now we will see that what is the exact issues with the China. See, as per the international law, up to 200 nautical miles from your border, you will have a exclusively economical zone. Okay, in that zone, whatever things will come, petrols will come, islands will come, that will be come into that country regions. So that country can use that petrol, that country can use that resource. Okay, so now what China is used to claim, China claims that, see, China claims that this is the part, let me explain. So this is the China. China is saying that China has drawn its own dotted 9 points, dash line, 9 dash line. Actually China has this region only, but the China is claiming that no, my region is this dash dot line. It has its own rule, that these regions will come under the China, that is China, and then from that, this from 200 nautical miles will be calculated. Like say these regions will come under China only. Taiwan is also a part of China as per the China. So that is the issue with. So this is the South China Sea dispute, and China said that if you are crossing this line, then you have to deal with the China. Okay, but similarly, this is dispute with the Vietnam. Vietnam is saying no, we are independent. This is our area. Why you are coming in our area? China is utilizing the resources present in these regions, but it will come under Malaysia. It will come under that Brunei, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan. Okay, so that is the issue in the South China dispute. So this is something called South China dispute that is happening. Okay, so South China Sea dispute, as per the United Nations Convention law, UN clause, that 200 nautical miles in the exclusive economic zone for any country will be responsible for that, will belongs to that country from that 200 nautical miles, that whatever the resources will be present in that regions, that will be belongs to that regions. Okay, so a country can tap for fisheries. Let me pause for 1 second, I am getting one call. Hi, sorry for this small glitch. So a country can tap for fisheries, mineral extractions and all if it is coming in that 200 nautical miles. So that will be exclusive economic zone for any country. So China claims over the exclusive economic zone for Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines and Taiwan. So China is telling that these all, whatever the nautical miles you have, these all will come under the China only. So that is the thing that is claimed by the China. He has another own rule. So USA is worried because it has lots of strategic investment with the Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia and the Indonesia. So whatever the petroleums, all over the things will be there, whatever the minerals resources will be present in that region, so China will take it. So that's why USA is worried. Okay, so the USA, that is the eagle, has decided to sign up with the Indian elephants to counter this Chinese picture. So whatever the thing that USA is getting signed with the India, it is only because of the countering the Chinese perception. So anti-China coalition has been started from the Indian side. So India is importing large amount of Chinese products also, so thus can't go directly against with the China also, like India can't also go against directly anti-China because India is importing lots of the things from the Chinese market. So it is not possible for India to be anti-China policy. Okay, so the China is one of the highest forex reserves in the world. Further, China has also like a highest forex reserves in the world. It has the forex currencies reserve changing of all the currencies, that it has the collection of forex reserves of all those currencies with the India, with the China only. Okay, so we already have a border with issue with the China, and China is investing in the Chinese-Pakistan economic corridor, that is the illegally Pakistan occupied regions, and further now Russia is also involved in this corridor zone. So thus India should be very careful in the influence of the USA. It should not be like the India is completely leaning towards USA. Okay, so Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bangladesh are becoming more closer to China. Chinese big fat checks or loans is the issue. So the problem is that China used to give loans at a huge amount. Okay, and it will be like that huge amount will not be, these small countries would not be able to repay it. Then after, what China will do, China will take that, give that part of land for 99 years and all, like the Hambantota port. So what China has done, China invested lots in the Hambantota port, and after that, when the Sri Lanka was unable to repay that amount, it was like that if the deal is about rupees 100, China will invest rupees 1000, and after that China will demand that return back all those money. So if you are unable to repay that money, then China will take that, then give that area for using for us, and after that year I will give that area to you. So it is also not possible, it is not also, that deal is not like China will give it or not. It is not also, we don't know that, like, see, if those regions, if these South Pacific regions, China is claiming where China does not have any right. So what is the proof that after 99 years of the Hambantota port, the China will give that port to the Sri Lanka? And further, China will be able to use that Hambantota for the military purpose also. So that is the challenge for America, that is India. Okay, so the China big fat checks loans is issue. India grants soft loans, but China diplomacy is the debt trap policy, like the Hambantota port policy. So India had a very good relation with the Iran and was getting oil at very low price earlier. That the issue that I told in here, that I will explain it here. Okay, so what happened, that earlier India used to import oil from Iran at very low price compared to the international market, but due to the pressure of the USA, India reduced the crude oil imports from the Iran to zero. Okay, at that same time, to pacify Iran is trying to develop its Chabahar port, so thus India will be able to access the Central Asia. So Chabahar port developed so that Afghanistan will also be connected and all. So it is like that India should not come into the influence of USA, and India should take steps very carefully, because India can't go directly anti-China and anti-USA also, because from USA we have a surplus, and from China we have lots of imports, so lots of the industries are dependent upon the China too. Okay, so what are the negative effect on the India and the Russia? Okay, so the world was divided into two power blocks, that is USA and the Russia earlier. So USA North Atlantic Treaty is there, which is believed in capitalist ideology because of the trade policies and all. USA under the leadership of Soviet Russian Warsaw Pact signed, whose principal ideology was of communism. Okay, so, and for the countries like India, Egypt, Indonesia, they started non-alignment movement, NAM, that they won't be any in the favor of anyone, neither USA nor Russia. We will be sovereign one. Okay, so this movement meant we are not going to align any of the power blocks, NAM, non-alignment movement, and we will remain independent. And independence is approaching the foreign policy, not attempting neutrality. So this was important till when Soviet Russia was present. When the Soviet Russia removed, one Soviet Russia disintegrated, Warsaw Pact also got lost its meaning of the communism. Okay, and that's why we have seen that in the Armenia and Azerbaijan regions are fightings and all because of the Soviet, because they were part of the Soviet Russia only. Okay, so the negative effects on the India-Russia ties. So India-USA defense deals have been increased, and the industrial corridor coming in UP and Tamil Nadu. So Russians are not happy and feeling little alienated from India. So to satisfy the Russians, India purchased that S-400 from the Russia. So air defense system, that is S-400 is like air defense system. Like if any threat comes from air, it will take it down from the air only. It is an air defense system. Okay, so it was the deal around $4 to $5 billion, and Russia has started to become little bit closer to Pakistan also. That I have said, that economic corridor that is being developed. So further, it has shown interest in the investing in China-Pakistan economic corridor, which passes through the illegally occupied Kashmir region. So further, when the S-400 deal was going on, so USA was not happy. So India gave an open favor to USA that if you have any better equipment from this S-400, then I am ready to deal with you. But USA didn't have that good things from that S-400. So that was that India made open favor of USA that if you have anything better than S-400, we are ready to buy it. Give it, we will take it. But there was nothing like that. But there was nothing better than S-400. So close similarity to S-400 is third, but strictly an anti-missile system, whereas S-400 is unmanned aerial vehicle missiles and fighter planes, that it can be in the fighter planes also. Okay. So what is the conclusion? So conclusion is that India should balance the ideals of a strategy, autonomy and non-alignment policy with its immediate and long-term national interest. Okay, that India should need to balance these ideals of the strategy, autonomy, and India should make a good relation with that. India now have to do good labor or take good initiatives to have a good relation with our neighbors, because most of the neighbors are going in the favor of China only, and India should also pay attention to the offset its loss and influence and momentum in the immediate neighborhood in the South Asia and its extended neighborhood from the West Asia also. So this is the whole conclusion, and I think you have liked the video. Please subscribe. Your subscription is a form of payment for me, and if you want any on-demand video lecture, or if you have any suggestions, feedback, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. The link is given in the description. Thank you.